and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lawrencia and this is Bantz with Lawrencia. So for today's episode, I want to talk about changing names after marriage. Now I'm talking about last names. So there was a social media post. Somebody made a post on Facebook talking about his friend who got married. He's been married for 2 years, and one of the issues that prompted their separation was the fact that the wife refused to change her last name. So according to him, he thought that was not supposed to be, a problem, because in Africa, traditionally, the woman, it's not even supposed to be a discussion. Like, she has to change. She is mandated to change her name. As soon as she marries the man, she is supposed to take the man's last name. So what happened in this situation was that the woman was already established in her, maiden name. She had businesses, she had social media pages with her name, and she was like thinking, if I had to change my name, I had to change everything. And sometimes the search engine will not even recognize that I am still the same person. People will be searching for me with my name, not knowing that I've gotten married and I've changed my name just because of marriage. So the lady refused to change her name after marriage, and for 2 years she and the husband were having this, back and forth conversation. Change your name. No, I will not change my name because of my branding, because of this, because of that. And the man is like, you have to take my name. So after 2 years, the whole thing came to a halt. They separated. They decided, this is no longer working. If you're not committed 100% into this marriage by taking my last name, then I don't think you are full into the whole marriage. So that was how, and the woman was like, listen, I have my businesses, I have things that I'm doing. I cannot just put everything on hold or just change everything and lose my potential customers, because people that already know me might still know me, but because maybe somebody has recommended me and that person is searching with my name, and because I've changed my name, I may lose potential customers, and this whole search engine issue is going to be a problem for my business. The man was not understanding that, and that was how they separated. So this person sharing that story on Facebook was like, can we come to an agreement? Like, is this really a deal breaker? Now, this story happened a couple of weeks ago. So I read it and I'm like, these people should have sorted this. This is not really a problem as far as I'm concerned. Like, they should have had that understanding, before getting married. So I was just sitting down minding my business when a friend called me and said, they want me to weigh in on an issue going on. I was like, okay, what's, is the problem? And according to her, a friend of hers who is engaged, planning a wedding, she is also a social media influencer. She had different businesses that she's doing with her name, her family name. And they sat down with the husband. She was telling the husband that she's not going to take his last name officially. Like, if they're going for an event, let me say the name is Mr. and Mrs. Okafor or something like that. So she is saying that she's happy to be called Mr. and Mrs. Okafor, but for her businesses and her social media, she is not going to officially change her name. So these people are planning wedding. They are planning marriage. These are things that I am happy that they even had that discussion even before marriage, because I was thinking, on the other story, like, this is something that they should have talked about before marriage. But these are people discussing this before marriage, and there is an issue, like the both of them could not agree. So the lady was like seeking advice on how to, manage the situation, because the man is saying that for the wedding to go ahead, she must change her name. And she was like saying that, listen, I am bringing in the baking because of what I do, because of my brand name, because of my brand influence, because of this, because of that. I cannot just come into this relationship and change my whole identity because of marriage. And the man is saying like, okay, that means you're not committed to this. You don't want people to know that you're married. You don't want people to know that, I am your husband. You don't want to acknowledge me. You don't want to acknowledge my family name. So they were asking me, what do I think? First of all, I was happy that they were having that conversation, because it is better to have that before marriage and resolve that by moving forward, or by just going their separate ways before getting married and then potentially divorcing 2 years down the line. So I told my friend, can you just call her? Let's talk about this. It's better for us to, the three of us, instead of me telling you to go and tell her. So we had a 3-way call, and I was like, why exactly is he? Because he knew who you were. He searched for you. He knew that, okay, this is your name. This is your brand. This is what you're doing. So why is he asking you to change your name? And she said, well, in his family, in Africa, it's a traditional thing for the women, once you're married, to take the last name of your husband. That is not even no questions asked, regardless of your whatever, you have to do that. Like, that is a sign of respect, a sign of acceptance. You don't even have to argue about that. So the man is saying that, listen, this is the tradition. This is what my family, my uncles, my elder ones that got married, their wife took on the last name. So you must do the same thing. She is trying to explain to him that those are the ones that got married. They don't have a brand name. They don't have like an established thing that they are doing that people know them for. So I think she said the conversation went left from there. He was saying that she was disrespecting his family. She was thinking that she is, all up there, and she is not. So they were having serious issues. So she was contemplating on just agreeing to take the last name, and then maybe after marriage she would refuse to do that. So I said, listen, I had to screenshot that story that I read a couple of weeks ago, and I sent it to her. I said, listen, these are people, probably they thought that they could resolve this after marriage, but this is what happened 2 years down the line. So I was like, if it's the branding that's the problem, why don't you get a name that is not even your name or your surname? Change the brand name, change it to make up names and initials, or just do something, or even hyphenate his name. There's a way you can put that will not even affect your brand. It was a tough conversation, and I was like, okay, let me discuss this with another male friend, because these are just 3 women talking. We are more interested in like saving the brand. We're in a modern world. This is 2022. Love should be the most important thing, not just getting married and taking somebody's name. So we were looking at it in that perspective. So I told her, just hold on a minute. Let me talk to, I don't want to put the guy on the call. I was like, okay, just hold on. Let me talk to somebody and get like a male perspective on this whole thing. I called a friend of mine. I was like, would you, if your wife tells you that she will not change her last name after marriage, how would you feel? He paused for a second and he said, why would she not want to take my name? Because it's like an automatic thing that you have to do. And I was like, okay, why wouldn't you take her own name? Because, this is a modern world. I understand that you guys are marrying us, but why do you think that a woman must take the name? And he said, well, tradition demands that. I said, okay, tradition. what if she is not are you a traditional person? That was the first question I asked. I said, are you a traditional person? He said, well, he is not that traditional, but in the sense of marriage, that he would want a traditional wife. I said a traditional wife. Okay. Now, a traditional wife, in the real sense of the African traditional wife, is that she will be a stay-at-home wife, popping her kids and taking care of the children, taking care of the home while you fend for the family. Are you that traditional? He said, no, that in the world today, women work. So it's kind of a 50-50 kind of situation whereby she would work, he would work, and they come together to take care of the family. And I was like, if you're not all that traditional, would you allow your wife? I mean, if you're going out, you're answering Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but in terms of our business, if somebody has registered their identity as their business name, would you want her to change all those things just because she is getting married to you? And he said, well, that he would not want that, but they have to like sit down. There has to be a good reason why she would not want to take his last name. And if it's kind of a justified reason, let's say she has different businesses in her name, let's say like Apple, that everybody knows, he would not want her to wake up one day and call Apple oranges. People will be confused. So if it's a brand that is already established, that he is happy for her to continue with that branding and just be the husband. So I had to go back to them and I said, well, you have to sit down with your husband and talk about, first of all, why do you think you cannot rebrand yourself before getting married? Why do you think you can change the name of the business? Like you can rebrand and use initials as your business just so that tomorrow, if you're now divorcing this person, you don't have to now change your name again just because you're getting married to somebody else. So she was like, okay, that she's going to tell him about that one. And that was the end of the conversation. So after dropping the phone, I sat down and I asked myself, like, would I want to take my husband's last name if I'm to get married tomorrow? Would I fully want to change my name, change like officially in all my documents, change my name to my husband's name? And I don't know. Depending on the surname, because if I am Lawrencia Udife and he is whatever Rock, I might not want to take Lawrencia Rock as my surname because it doesn't rhyme. Sometimes it's just for selfish reasons, like you want something that rhymes with your personality. Because some people, okay, let me put it this way, some people even change their names before getting married. Some people change their surname. Let's say you're coming from a family from a Smith family, and Smith people are known for, let's say, some certain traits that you don't like, you don't want to be associated with, you don't want that identity on you even before getting married. People, maybe your dad is Adam Smith, you might decide to call yourself Adam and not Smith. People change their identity on a daily basis, but I think the whole traditional sense whereby a woman is demanded to take her husband's last name, regardless of how she feel about it, regardless of the brand. It's kind of a power kind of situation whereby I own you, I bought you, you are mine, so you have to take my identity. I mean, if it's something that you have to, it's from time immemorial. It's the patriarchy that we are trying to break, but it also has to do with how you communicate certain things. If you're getting married to somebody and you're saying, listen, people change last name on a daily basis. I don't think last name is, unless I am getting married to Dangote's son, I would like that Dangote to be there. I would like everybody to know that I am Lawrencia Dangote, So I think it's just how people view things. I am happy, or maybe I'm getting married into the Elumelu family, and my name, I'll be like, I am Lawrencia Elumelu. Like, they know that, yes, that. So it just has to do with the name matters a lot. If you're dropping a name, there has to be a very good reason why you're dropping that name. I am sorry to say that marriage is not all that. Um, it's not the ultimate reason for you to change your name, especially the people or the person, the family you're getting married into. If that name is something you don't identify yourself with, let's say I'm getting married to a Chinese person and his name is Chang Lu. I am not going to be called Lawrencia Lu. Sorry. I love you, babe, but that is not going to happen. So it's about identity, regardless of whether you're getting married to a man or a man is demanding you change your identity to his identity. I know people who are married, they took both the name of the husband and his surname. Example, Nollywood actress Gloria Anozie, when she got married to Nobat Young, she took the name. Her name became Gloria Nobat Young. I remember trying to do something on like Nollywood actresses, not old, like seasoned Nollywood actresses, and I was looking for their names, and because you know them by Gloria Anozie, you know them, Regina Asker, you know them by all these names, but there are so many, 70% of them, you can't find them. Why? Because they've taken the last names of their husband. So these are the issues. Sometimes it's not just about you being a dutiful wife or you being submissive or you trying to be, there are so many people who must have known you or who were introduced to you as, let's say, Gloria Anozie, and those people are looking for Gloria Anozie, but right now you're Gloria Nobat Young, and nobody knows that you are Gloria Nobat Young. Take, for instance, Omotola Jolade. Her husband's name is Ekende, but she added the whole thing, Omotola Jolade Ekende. So even if you're saying Omotola Jolade, we know who you're talking about. If you're saying Omotola Jolade Ekende, we know who you're talking about. So I think hyphenating the name makes it easier for people to still find you, because if they type your name and that comes out, or if they type the hyphenated name, you also come out. So it's something that people need to look into, people need to talk about, especially in this age of social media where branding is almost everything. Like, if, let's take for instance, Genevieve Nnaji as Genevieve Nnaji, and though she has a verified account, though everybody knows her account, let's take for instance, this was 2004, 2005, where social media is not, social media the way we see it today. And then she got married and she became Genevieve Okafor. So now everybody's, because we've seen her movies, we've seen the work that she's done. People that were not even there, when she was acting, were not even born at that time. They are watching her movies now and they were like, where is Genevieve Nnaji? They're searching for Genevieve Nnaji, but what they are saying is Genevieve Okafor. Or they are not even searching for Genevieve Okafor. When they're searching for Genevieve Nnaji, that is not coming up because she registered her account as Genevieve Okafor. Some people may find her, some people may find it difficult to to marry the two names together, especially if you're no longer, you know, in the secular limelight, if you're no longer acting or if you're no longer being creative, is going to impact on the people who are searching for you and prospective potential clients that are coming to you, maybe to offer you a movie deal or whatever. They might find it difficult to find you. So for me, it's a conversation that needs to be had before getting married. It's something that people need to sit down and talk about. Some people will say it's just a name, but a name is also an identity of who we are. If somebody is demanding for somebody else to just throw away their identity, something that they've identified as for decades, just because they pay the bride price, then I think that's a problem. So I think it's just about, having a conversation, understanding why somebody is asking you to change your name, and understanding why that person is refusing to change that name. If that conversation is had truthfully, I think people will understand each other more without being judgmental, without being traditional, without being playing, the power play, or I am the husband, or patriarchy, without trying to suppress anybody, without trying to own, because most times it's about ownership. Sometimes women, let's say you start having children and your child is, let's say I'm using Okafor, your husband is John Okafor, and then your child is Paul Okafor, and then you are you're probably Amanda Eze. So it's like you're now looking at your documents and you're thinking, I need to do something about this. So sometimes we grow into certain things without even being told. You just see that as a natural progression. If that happened naturally, then you don't even need to force people to do things. They will do it gladly, just to fit in. Sometimes people change name to fit in. I don't know. So please leave me a comment in the comment section. I think I'm just going round and round in circles, because you cannot box people into one. People have different feelings. Some people do that without even being asked. It's instinctive. It's something that they know that they have to do. But for some other people that are struggling to do it, we have to force everybody to do certain things just because it's the tradition, or just because we want to, harass the egos of our husbands. I don't know. So please leave me a comment in the comment section and tell me, if you've been married or if you're married, was it a conversation for you to change your last name? Or was it something that you did out of respect, out of submission, out of tradition, or just because you want to make sure that people see that you're 100% into that marriage? If your case was the fact that, okay, I already have a brand and I don't want to mess up my brand, and your husband understood that, let me know, how you had that, how did that was that conversation had before or after marriage? So leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your views. And thank you very much for watching today's episode. Bye-bye.